Hey y'all, what's up? I wanted to take a break from the Diablo 4 beta and make a quick comparison with the early game that I see as slightly problematic and use another ARPG that currently is in early access beta itself, Last Epoch. Before I list my one main complaint about Diablo 4 though, I have to say this. Look, the game is amazing. Visually, it stands at the top of all ARPGs. The presentation, the production is again at the very top of the genre. This will be the game that sets Diablo back at the top as the king of all ARPGs without a shadow of a doubt. How long that'll last is up in the air, with PoE 2 and Last Epoch both releasing officially either late this year or maybe even next year. But as of now, I believe June will become the month that the Diablo 4 naysayers are proven wrong. The combat feels great for the most part. Actions are responsive, the movement is nice. The new dodge or roll action is kinda meh, sorta sluggish, but ultimately it can be ignored and it doesn't detract from the overall enjoyment of the game. Playing the Barbarian, I felt sorta weak the first couple of levels, but quickly became a powerhouse, whirling around like a lawnmower blade slicing through fresh summer grass, boy. Mobs lay at my feet, well, until it came to bosses. The bosses have way too much health in my opinion, especially for the early game. And, I can see them being balanced for a second playthrough on an alt that'll be benefiting from all the account-wide buffs that you've gained via that initial clear, and probably have better gear than someone that's like on a fresh account. But as it stands, they're just meat bags with massive amounts of health. And since you're a lower level without many skills, skill points, or even gear, you're hitting a pit bull with a wet noodle, and honestly it just pisses them off. Now the mechanics of these boss fights, however, are great. I have no complaints about that at all. You can't just sit there and wail away on them or cast endlessly. You have to respect the mechanics. You can't stand in the red stuff. Again, I have no complaints about that at all. After a while, I decided to switch to play the sorcerer, and I never felt weak for any second, any moment as a sorcerer. I went with Firebolt and Incinerate to start with. The only time I took damage on my sorcerer was when I didn't want to respect the mechanics of a fight, or I knew that if I stood still and continued channeling Incinerate, the enemies would die well before I was in any real danger. The Hydras are strong. They felt worthy of the points I invested, but I never felt that they were overpowered. They melted weaker mobs, but like with the Barbarian, the bosses still took forever to down. Even with Hydras, Incinerate, Burn Dot, my Firebolt, Burn Dot, and Flame Wall, they just seem to last forever. And I don't know, just something annoyed me about that. But don't get me wrong, I don't want the bosses to be a piece of cake. I don't want to run into a boss fight and ignore the mechanics all the time and drop them in 10 seconds. However, I don't want to run into a boss fight and that single fight lasts 10 minutes of me slowly draining a health bar on my level 3 to level 10 with no skills, so I'm just spamming one, maybe two buttons at most. That's not my idea of fun, and I think that should be revisited. Maybe give them, I don't know, half, maybe 60% of the health that they currently have. And right now it just seemed like sort of an insurmountable task, like Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, But finally I tried the Rogue and I did not like it at all. I went with Penetrating Shot as my skill this time, and yeah, now it did great damage. Probably the most damage on a single skill than I had on my Barbarian or my Sorcerer. So when it came to mobs, like a few shots would clean an entire pack. The issue was 3 shots completely drained my resource pool dry. This isn't that much of an issue when you're traveling through the world, just fighting mobs as they run up to you and you drop them, but elites will not die in 3 shots. You won't kill them. You're forced to either run around until your resource slowly fills, or you can do your incredibly low damage from your basic attack. It does minimal damage, I mean like very minimal damage, to the point where I felt it was better for me to just run around dodging mechanics and just waiting for my resource to fill back up so that I can hit it with another penetrating shot. Now this made the damage spawn bosses a pain in the ass to face with that build. Now it's a beta and I was experimenting. Damn, it didn't feel fun at all. I could have gone with the melee build, but I tend to play ARPGs how I want to play and not, how others tend to play. I don't look up builds, I don't care about meta. I just want to load up a game and start playing what I feel is fun. Or what feels interesting, and reading the description and penetrating shot. That's what I wanted to do. So something was bugging me about this. So I immediately switched to playing a game that's not as far along in its development as Diablo 4 is, and I loaded up Last Epoch and I started playing on my level 9 rogue, picked the same skill, penetrating shot. But with penetrating shot in Last Epoch, it's either a melee attack or a ranged attack, just depending on the weapon that you have equipped. So even running around using penetrating shot with a sword, it drained a lot of resource, but the resource built a lot faster. Also, my basic attacks were pretty strong. I think they did a better job of capturing the feel of a rogue in Last Epoch than they did in Diablo. I mean, the skills look better in Diablo, the character in the game looks better overall in Diablo, but as far as, I guess, nailing the combat at a lower level, I think Last Epoch does that a little better. My rogue in Last Epoch, she felt smooth and effortless to enjoy. The basic ability wasn't pathetic. The resource, again, filled faster. She cleared packs faster. She killed bosses faster. The movement in the game was a little more responsive as well, so that all added into my enjoyment of playing the rogue. Now, if you watch the D4 boss fight earlier in the vid, you'll see me taking a lot of damage that should be easily avoidable. I didn't do anything differently here, but the character moves with more precision and responds to clicks with far more accuracy in Last Epoch than it did in D4. Felt powerful but not unstoppable, as I knew if I allowed the boss to hit me, I'd be dead. Now, I'm not making this video to bash Diablo 4. I actually enjoy that game quite a lot. Now, I understand that I'm a filthy casual, that casual prime as I call myself, and it could just be me, and I could have just picked the wrong skills on my D4 rogue and quit in frustration. Anyway, did you play the beta of either of these games? Do you think I'm wrong? What do you think I did wrong? But yeah, it's nice to be back making videos. I have Guild Wars 2 videos coming up soon. I'm finishing my last class to 80. Yep, I've been very busy. I have 8 of the 9 character archetypes leveled up. I'm just working on that last one now. And I plan to do a different class for each expansion pack and give my thoughts on them. But that's it for me for right now. I hope you'll be back with me next time. And until then.